Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. And to start this video off, I just want to mention that the microphone is not working for some reason. So if you hear any outside noise, just deviate from that. But we're going to get right into the video today. So we have a lot to talk about with the Arizona Coyotes, as the Coyotes right now are in a weird spot in terms of who is available and who's not. Because right now they're kind of in a mix of guys that are single, it's complicated, and in a relationship. And there are guys as soon as last year that we thought were off the market, like Jakob Chychrun, that all of a sudden are available. Then you have the Lawson Krauses of the world that are a little bit more on the it's complicated side. So we're going to be talking about some of those today. So this is the first report here from Frank Saravelli. We're going to talk about Lawson Crouse. I heard Arizona were looking for a first-round pick and a roster player for Lawson Crouse. Is he available? Yes, but probably one of the guys they prefer not to trade, which actually gives the Coyotes more power and gives them a little bit of leverage in this, because they're in no rush to trade Lawson Crouse, and they're just like, all right, well, we'll just keep him then. He's been a good player for the Coyotes, and I think there's reason to believe that actually may help the Coyotes in what they actually get for Crouse. So this is from Russell Morgan. The New Jersey Devils have shown trade interest in Coyotes forward Lawson Crouse. The Coyotes would love to get probably some pretty good assets from the Devils, but the problem is the Devils are in their own spot where they probably don't want to give up too many draft picks and prospects, and in particular a first round pick. The Devils will probably have a top 15 pick at the least, maybe even a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 pick. I don't see the Devils trading away that first round pick for a guy like Lawson Crouse, and that's nothing against Crouse, but that's the reality of the spot right now for the Devils. So if you're looking at a team that's going to acquire Crouse, it's going to have to be a team that's looking at him longer term and is a playoff team that's willing to give up their first round pick this year. This is from Craig Morgan. There will be a rental market for Johan Larsson if he's healthy. Jay Beagle could be another player who will draw interest. There's a good chance that another contender may want to add Riley Nash at the deadline. So those are just a couple more names here for the Coyotes, generating a little bit of interest, and I think that's a good thing. I think the Coyotes are looking at a spot right now where they can move some of those guys, like a Riley Nash, who could go to a playoff contender, looking to add some center depth, kind of like the role he was in with the Boston Bruins, as soon as last season, right? So definitely something we'll look at there. This is from The Athletic. We're moving on to the Phil Kessel situation. The Coyotes have offered teams Phil Kessel at a 50% retained salary for a third-round pick. Now, I think that's probably the line. I think teams will take him at that. I think Kessel's a guy that has some value to the league. He can score goals. He's got one of the best wrist shots in the league. So he's going to gain interest. It just, as he continues to get older, teams are going to be a little bit more weary of taking on Kessel, but I think he will inevitably move. Again, his contract does end this summer. I could see him getting another shot with a playoff team here down the stretch. This is also from Craig Morgan. There was some talk that the New York Rangers have looked into Phil Kessel. I remember hearing about these reports back in December and November of last year, so I don't know if that's recently they've talked about that, but I know in the past Kessel has absolutely been linked to the Rangers. Now we move on to the Jakob Chychrun stuff, and this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So this is from David Pajnota. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been linked to defenseman Jakob Chychrun. I don't think that's any real surprise to anybody. I think that the Coyotes have made it quite clear that Jakob Chychrun is available, but it's going to be expensive, and I think the Leafs do have the assets. Yet the problem for the Leafs is they just hung up the phone on a Klingberg trade involving their first. Kyle Dubas has been pretty adamant he doesn't want to trade Sheldon Nyes, Tapi Hemonuliemi, or whatever, one of those Finnish guys in their prospect pool, and their first round pick. So I don't know how Jakob Chychrun gets traded there if you're not including those types of assets. So that'll be an interesting development. Somebody's going to have to give if that deal gets done. From Chris Johnston, the Los Angeles Kings have been in the Jakob Chychrun sweepstakes since the very beginning. Yet I do remember, though, in January, they were going a little bit cold on the situation. They were like, screw that, we don't really want to do that. I think there's a little bit more of a middle ground being made here between the Coyotes and the Kings. Now, maybe the Coyotes aren't going to get an Alex Turcotte or a Quinton Byfield exactly, or even a Brent Clark, but those are the kind of guys that maybe Brent Clark is that limit of what they're willing to give up. And there's definitely enough assets there by the Kings. We could see that get done. The Boston Bruins and Florida Panthers have both checked in on Jakob Chychrun, again from Chris Johnston. So no, again, we're hearing these same sort of teams, playoff teams that want to add a good defenseman for the long term. And Jakob Chychrun definitely fills out that bill. Now we're looking at the Los Angeles Kings prospect pool. Hold on, Gatorade break. TJ Teenan leads the list right now in terms of points with the prospect system. He's currently playing with the Ontario Reign. He has 63 total points in 39 games this season with the Ontario Reign. So that's something to look at. Brent Clark, who is their top 10 draft pick from the Barrie Colts, kind of reminds me a lot of Aaron Ekblad. That's the comparisons I've been making. Again, yes, he is a guy that played in Ontario, in Barrie with the Barrie Colts. But Brent Clark, definitely a guy to look at. Martin Ferk, he's kind of on the downswing of his career. We're not really talking much about him. Martin Chromiak, he's currently playing with the Kingston Frontenacs in the OHL. That's somebody to look at. Jarrett Anderson Dolan, he's also playing with the Ontario Reign, just like TJ Teenan. Francesco Pinelli, Jordan Spence, Gabe Velardi, which we've talked extensively about. That could be a guy that ends up getting moved. The Kings have so many centers now. Gabe Velardi could be on his way out. Tyler Madden, Vladimir Kachayev, that's a name that we'll look at as well. I think what's interesting with Kachayev, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's been up and down with the NHL club, and he's proven in the AHL he can produce, maybe not to the level of Teenan, but he has 20 points in 25 games this season with the Reign. So there's a couple guys right there that the Coyotes, if they want to make a deal for Chychrun there could be something there. This is from David Paginotta, as you know, kind of following that up. The Coyotes have interest in multiple Kings prospects, including Gabe Velardi. Like I said, I think Gabe Velardi would be a key piece of that deal. But I could definitely see that getting done. It's unlikely, though, that the Kings trade Ole Mata before the trade deadline. So that's another report. Again, I think the Coyotes and the Kings could work something out even this summer in a deal. And maybe Ole Mata ends up being a guy that goes to Arizona as a restricted free agent. So again, little things here and there to look at. Again, you don't want to look too far into this because, again, it is just a rumor. But I know that the Kings have the prospects. I know Kings fans, what you guys have said in the comments, are very much interested in the idea of Chychrun coming to your club. And I think there's definitely a fit there. It's just a matter of getting the little intangible pieces, figuring out who's going to go where. That's really going to be the key thing in that type of trade. But that is it, guys, for today's video. Comment down below, where do you think Jakob Chychrun will end up for the Arizona Coyotes and some of these other guys? I think Lawson Crouse is definitely a name to keep an eye on. That could be kind of the dark horse guy to move. The guy like Anthony Mantha last year, that kind of nobody was really expecting to move. We were hearing rumors about it, but we didn't actually expect it to happen. So let me know what you guys think, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.